In the opening scene, we are introduced to Dominika, a beautiful ballet dancer. Her mother is critically unwell and currently receiving medical treatment. She has to work to support her family while her mother is being taken care of by a caregiver funded by her company. As the movie starts, she attends a program where she meets her uncle, Ivan, who works for the Russian State Security, SVR. Ivan introduces her to Dmitry, a wealthy gangster. Dmitry asks for a picture with her, and he touches her back inappropriately. Afterward, Dominika goes for her performance and dances on the stage. She dances beautifully with her partner, Konstantin, but he accidentally lands on her leg, causing it to break. She is rushed to the hospital where she needs immediate surgery. Meanwhile, we're introduced to Nate Nash, an undercover CIA agent in Moscow. He meets with his spy, Marble. Their conversation goes well, but when they are about to depart, Russian police arrive. Nate doesn't want his spy to be caught, so he shoots his gun to distract the police and call their attention to him. He successfully escapes from the police and goes to the American embassy for safety. There he meets his superiors who inform him of the outcome of his actions. While Marble is safe, he faces deportation from Russia, a sufficient consequence for his actions. At the SVR National Office, Ivan meets with Colonel Zakharov and the head of the SRV, Korshinoy. Zakharov shows a video coverage of the incident at Gorky Park. They wonder what's the identity of the mysterious man since his face isn't showing in the video. He insists on tracking him down. Later, Dominika wakes up from her surgery and she sees her leg injury. She breaks down immediately, knowing she won't be able to dance again. 3 months later, Dominika is now able to walk, with the aid of a walking stick. She returns home that day and meets Ivan at her house. Ivan discusses her recent problems, her new replacement, Sonia, and the possibility of eviction and cessation of her mother's medical support. He offers assistance, leaves her a file, and emphasizes that accidents don't exist before departing. She reviews a file containing an audio recording revealing Konstantin and Sonia plotting to harm her and seize her position. She goes to the studio and watches them practice. Later, they excuse themselves and go to the female changing room. Dominika follows behind and sees them having intercourse. Furious, she hits them mercilessly to get her revenge. Later, she decides to call the police to report it as an accident. Upon returning home, Dominika hears her mother crying in the bathroom, realizing the company stopped compensating her caregiver, leading to the termination of services. Dominika feels she needs money, so she reaches out to Ivan, who agrees to help her on the condition of gathering more information about Dmitry by seducing him. Left with no other choice, she reluctantly accepts. Dominika goes to a bar where she knows Dmitry is, then gets him to sit beside her. When he consoles her, she tells him about how she wants to be special again. They both go to a private room, and Dmitry asks her to remove her dress while he admires her body. Shortly after, Dmitry starts intimacy with her in desperation, and in the process a random man in a helmet starts strangling Dmitry from the back until he dies. The man takes Dominika away, and when they get to their hideout, he introduces himself as Metorin, and he works for the SVR. Zakharov feels Dominika is a witness to Dmitry's death, so she should be disposed of. But Ivan sees she has potential and decides to send her to the Sparrow school, where young people are trained to seduce other people and gain what they want. Later, Dominika meets Matron, the head of the Sparrow school, who takes her to the first class. In class, Matron explains the current world chaos and that sparrows like them work for the Russian government and must comply with the tasks given to them. Following an example where Matron asks Dominika to remove her clothes, but she refuses. Matron then stresses their full compliance with all given instructions. Meanwhile, Nate returns to America, where his superiors tell him he is suspended from international duties. He pleads with them that Marble will never relate with anyone else except him, and they also consider that Marble hasn't spoken to them since then, so they decide to send him to a country near Russia. Back in the Sparrow school, the students continue getting exposed to various forms of training. Matron explains how to find out what a person wants, fulfill what the person wants, and get information in return. She shows them a picture of a man asking what he wants. A confidently assertive individual, Nikolai, responds, but Dominika contradicts him, providing an accurate answer. This leads the guy to become infuriated with her. In the next example, Matron asks one of the students to get down onto a degenerate, but she refuses, so Matron tells her she will try again next time. Matron reiterates the importance of using their bodies as a weapon for what they want. Later, Matron asks the students to satisfy soldiers who have just returned from war, and Dominika picks one of them and deals with him so greatly that Matron appreciates her skill. However, while having her bath, Nikolai tries to forcefully get his way with her, but she hits him. The issue gets to Zakharov, who intervenes, but she insists that she serves the country and not her fellow students. As a punishment, she is asked to unclad and have Nikolai make love with her. She is unclad, but the boy can't get into the mood, and he walks away. Dominika announces that what he wants is power, not intimacy. The SVR finds out Nate is now around Russia, and Ivan suggests using Dominika with the cover name Katerina to uncover Marble's identity. Dominika stays in the same room with another Sparrow, Marta, and she is to report to their supervisor, Maxim. She finds out Nate goes to a pool, so she registers there too, but with the name Dominika. Later, she bumps into Nate on her way, and they talk. Unbeknownst to her, Nate figures she is a spy. The next day, her identity card goes missing at the pool. Turns out that Nate has stolen it, as he presents it to his superiors, confirming her true identity. Nate suggests that she is valuable and wants to recruit her, and his superiors accept reluctantly. Later, Dominika attends a state program to tail Nate, where she sees Marta with another woman, Stephanie. Nate comes to meet her shortly after, confessing that he stole her identity card. She then reveals her true intentions and agrees to have dinner with him. Upon getting home, Dominika discovers Marta's secret mission, which is to purchase confidential information from the chief of staff to the U.S. Senator, Stephanie. When Marta returns, she shows Dominika the report Maxim sent to the agency, which was unfavorable to her. That night, Dominika tails Maxim to a bar, convincing him to send a favorable report to Moscow. She provokes him into hitting her, and she blackmails him with the video of assaulting her so that he will obey her instructions. Meanwhile, Nate is still waiting at the restaurant for Dominika but decides to leave soon after. Unbeknownst to him, Dominika follows him to his place. After turning up the volume of the TV, Dominika inquires about the incident back in Gorky Park. After getting an answer, she kisses him, but he stops halfway, advising her to go home. Sometime later, Ivan visits to know about the progress, but Dominika has nothing much to report. Pressured, she lies about working with Marta to get information from Stephanie, but they will need funding to buy the information. Ivan considers it for a moment but decides to leave. In that instance, Dominika manages to get some of his information by looking at his passport. Dominika returns home and finds Marta dead. Maturin suddenly appears, threatening her. That is what happens if someone decides to betray. Afraid, she returns to Nate and confides in him. Nate reassures her that she will be fine and suggests that she work with him as a double agent, and she accepts. That night they have intercourse and consummate their relationship. The following day he brings her to his superiors, who employ a lie detector to assess her veracity. Upon determining that she is truthful, they grant her acceptance. In the next scene, Dominika meets with Stephanie to buy the information. Their deal goes well, but she pretends to be checking the disc while swapping it with the counterfeit. She leaves with Maxim afterward. Later on, Stephanie realizes she is being watched and drops the money. Panicked, she walks away but gets hit by an oncoming truck. The Russians realize their mission has been compromised, so they recall Dominika and Maxim and torture them. Dominika insists she didn't betray the team, and Ivan eventually believes her, but Maxim is killed. She is asked to return to her mission, and she reunites with Nate. She spends the night with him, but wakes up to Maturin torturing Nate. She joins Maturin in tormenting Nate at first, but when she is distracted, she turns against him. They eventually kill Maturin but get injured. At the hospital, she meets Korchnoi, who confesses his identity as Marble. He claims that his sense of patriotism shifted after a superior intervened to prevent his wife from undergoing surgery by an American doctor, ultimately resulting in her tragic death. He fears he will soon be caught, but to preserve his legacy, he urges her to report him, allowing her to become a national hero and continue as a double agent. After contemplating, Dominika turns herself in and asks to speak with the Russian spy. She discloses her awareness of the mole and offers to divulge the information if they grant her freedom. Later, an exchange meeting is scheduled at the airport. Nate follows her for the exchange, but he is disappointed that she used him for her actions. However, he's shocked that the mole they revealed is Ivan. It turns out Dominika has been doing everything to set her uncle up since they started the mission. Shocked, Nate cooperates and confirms Ivan is the mole. Just as the prisoners are exchanged, Ivan is shot by a Russian sniper, and Dominika is taken away by a helicopter. Sometime later, Dominika is honored at a Russian military ceremony with Korchnoi in attendance. Dominika now lives a carefree life with her mother as the movie ends. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, leave a like to help the channel out. Also leave a comment if you'd like us to recap your favorite movie. Thanks for watching.